Welcome to Beyond the Drywall, the place where we talk about tools, tenants, and the truths about property management and construction that nobody else will say. This is not some guru, corporate, you too can make passive income in real estate spiel. This is a gritty, real-world survival guide, presented in a humorous yet no BS manner. I'm John, and I didn't set out to be a property manager. In fact, 7 years ago, I was broke, homeless, and riding around in Ubers to manage rentals. Today I run two companies, a property management company and a small construction company. This is my story. Your first investment property. Wow, I'm getting all misty. The market is not really there for the new investor right now, but give it less than 12 months and things will begin to warm up again. Plenty of time to start to learn to how to recognize deals and when to jump in. Just remember, you snooze, you lose. If I were a new investor, I would recommend starting small to avoid getting hurt so badly the first time. Always remember one thing, never, ever, ever fall in love with an investment property. Never make your first property a passion project. You will spend too much money that you will never get back. Try to identify how you want to use the property first. Is it a Section 8, standard market rental, multifamily, commercial? Yeah, in fact, just never do passion projects at all. I can tell you about an owner and their first property that was a total passion project. The unit was located on the end of a so-so block. 4 blocks away it was a bit rough, but this block was okay. That's the thing about Baltimore. It's a block-by-block city. One block could be fine, and the next could have no-shoot zones sprayed everywhere. The unit itself had good bones, but it was nothing special. I personally would have lived at this property because it was so nice, even with its close proximity to the rougher areas just 4 blocks away. But hey, what do I know? I've been fooled before. But hear me out. This owner took an ordinary unit and made it something special. And when I say special, this house was turned into something really nice. 2 bedrooms upstairs, deluxe ceiling fans, bathroom shower that had dual spray nozzles, and a great tile job, plush carpet upstairs. The kitchen had a chef's 5-burner gas stove, stainless steel everywhere, and real granite countertops. Double well sink with one of those drop-down sprayer handles with a spring thingy, 3-door deluxe fridge, small colored glass tiles on the backsplash, a higher-end model dishwasher, LVP throughout the living room, a new central air system. The downstairs basement had been totally finished, and while technically not another bedroom, it was fully carpeted and would convert into another living space rather quickly. There was a second bathroom in the basement as well, a full separate laundry room. I'm telling you, this place had it all. The main areas had brand new technology, decorative LED lighting. And top it all off, the house had an advanced security system. It was the only property in my inner city portfolio that had an actual security system. Most of the time, you had to be out in Anne Arundel County with the $350,000 homes before you saw a real security system in a rental unit. And how was this owner rewarded for her labor of love? Well, the first tenant was a husband and wife couple with a small male child. After the first 6 months, the husband left. Just got up and walked straight out the door. Then COVID hit, leaving the child to be mostly alone with a friend or someone watching while the mother worked a security job. A few strange things then started to happen. The child flushed a sponge down the toilet, then another service call came in, where the woman had flushed 100 wet wipes down the line. Then the rent payments starting coming in late, then not at all. Her lease was up, and she came to an agreement with the owner. When we went back to do an exit inspection, the child had punched a couple small holes and did some carpet damage to the basement landing. Nothing horrible. The thing that surprised us the most was that the woman had abandoned a cat in the house when she left. We opened up a closet door, and the angry little thing shot through us like a lightning bolt. Unfortunately, tenants abandoning pets inside or on the back porch of rental units is much more common than you would think. We quickly got the unit back online and found a better tenant. But still, it just goes to show you, some tenants don't know what to do with something nice. As Dalton used to say, expect the unexpected. I will also say this now. Try your best not to be a manage by spreadsheet kind of guy, gal. There are way too many variables that pop up unexpectedly. Have an understanding of the numbers, but always try to have a plan B and a plan C contingency for those pesky unknown variables. Let's take a second and pause here. I am new to this whole podcast thing, so apparently I am supposed to ask you to like and follow and share to get my numbers up. Higher numbers will help me keep this thing going, so if you would be so kind, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And now, back to the program. COVID, for instance. Who the hell saw that one coming? Only next time it could be something as simple as a pipe burst during the winter, or my favorite problem to deal with, cracked sewer line trouble in the basement. Yuck. The location of the property is also important. Is the area already on the upswing? Good deals are harder to find? Or is it a fringe property? Fringes take time to get your money back. The best locations are already taken. Rare to find good deals there. How it was the property used previously versus how do you intend to use it? Is the unit a multifamily or single? Does the owner plan to do some sort of house hack, where the property is not totally legal to rent and there are understandings with the tenants on the lease? The thing with homes in older historic areas, and this could be several places in the country, Baltimore, D.C., Philly, Jersey, the utility lines and usage are not always clear. What I mean is this, because the original house may have predated electricity, there could be up to 3 different types of electrical lines running around. The old-timey paper wire and those little red stick fuses, the small circular glass screw-in fuses, or the more familiar circuit boxes that most of us know. And because these homes may have been chopped up into rental units after the initial wiring, it can often be very hard to trace what is a common area hallway light or laundry room, and what is part of the tenant's bill. Same thing with water tanks. Many duplexes or even multi-unit homes are running on a community-type hot water heater, with one big tank supplying water to many units. This kind of situation always needs to be explained up front and agreed upon to avoid issues later. I'll tell you a story of a unit that we briefly took over from a couple of investors that was part of a larger multi-unit deal. The upper unit had been chopped up into smaller subs. The basement had already been completely finished and had tenants that we were told were off limits. I was not really sure why at the time. Things were already sounding fishy. The thing that the upper tenants were complaining about was the fact the water bill was extremely high for a single home, like more than $500 a month, which was ridiculous. There were more complaints about the basement tenants washing a lot of cars out back, like all of the time. No one in the upper unit was friends with the lower units, so questions were left unanswered. So we had to bring in the trades and get the place inspected. Turns out there was a multitude of sins happening. Illegal wiring to the AC. The tenants below were running some sort of laundry business with stacks of detergent in the halls and a folding room. All this activity was being supported by the tenants upstairs. We quickly bailed from the whole lot of units once. We determined that the owner was not going to make any changes. A while ago, and it is kinda still is this way, investors were looking to buy multi-story homes and convert them into assisted living facilities. All legal-like, but they required a lot of additional work to prep. These were not the Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm type of facilities, just normal, typical inner-city homes, converted to rooms for the elderly that had round-the-clock attendees and watchers. These kinds of projects have to pay more attention to accessible bathrooms, rails, access ramps, and common areas. Now, Section 8 specific homes are a bit different. It's more about providing adequate and decent living accommodations than a luxury lifestyle. There's a few key amenities that need to be provided. The unit needs to be inspected by a housing authority as opposed to third-party independents. You are not given many chances to fail these inspections because they take a bit of work to set up. If you fail the housing inspection twice, that's it. But once the tenant is in, then you have a chance at long-term residency. Not sure what's going to happen now with all the recent changes. The point here being, I would not suggest installing dual shower heads and custom granite countertops in these units. Make sure you know what the guidelines are first before any renovation work. Along with any inspection, there is generally a little bit of work that needs to be done to get a rental property up to code. Wiring, smoke detectors, plumbing, sewage, new bathrooms and kitchen remodels, roof, lead, painting, asbestos, mold, HVAC, handrails, and GFI outlets, to name a few. These things always frequently pop up. Then there are the surprises, like foundation issues, failing walls, cracked bricks, water in the basement, maybe a previous flood from the backyard landscape sloping. It may not be obvious until you cut a foot from the bottom of the sheetrock and inspect the 2x4s behind the drywall. Always check out the HVAC and the water tank's dates. One is a $1,200 fix, the other is 6K, 7K. Can the HVAC be salvaged for another year? In older homes, how old is the wiring? Then there are the nice-to-haves, which can only help you later. Like LVP, nowadays, it's becoming a matter of pay me now or pay me later. If your goal is to get a tenant into the unit and hope to get 2 to 3 cycles, where you can start to get some money in, then carpet may be the way to go. Fresh, new condition appliances are always a nice touch. You can go scratch and dent or used. But like I said earlier, appliances just don't last anymore. Don't even bother with those coil burner stoves. Manufacturers found a way to make them not even last a year. Never buy a 3-door anything. Never buy high-end washers and dryers. Find a good brand, but not the best brand dishwasher. I actually recommend buying decent toilets. Maybe that's just because I'm a fat ass. But a good toilet can help you avoid some issues later. Cheap ones don't hold up and cost $500 to replace later. Can't tell you how many times I've gone up against the city for abnormal water usage. Regular hot water heaters are usually made by only 3 real companies. All are about the same in quality. Do not buy instant-on anything for a rental. Remember, always put a cage around the AC unit out back, even in nicer areas. I've lost so many cooling units, it's not even funny. Something you may not think about until after a tenant has moved in and there are problems is the circuit box. You will need an electrician to tell you if the existing box will handle the load of modern conveniences. 100 amp box may not do it. Remember, if your house was built prior to 1970, it may not be able to handle central air, washer and dryer, appliances, space heaters, and everything else tenants are hitting it with. I tell you something you never thought of. Those video games suck a lot of power. A 200 amp service is more and more becoming the norm. Then there are things you absolutely must do in order to meet code, like child safety outlets, wired smoke detectors, covered outlets. Better to get it done now than after you've failed your first inspection. Also, while we are at it, look at all the GFIs near water or sinks and hand railings. Today's takeaway. 1. Always have a purpose in mind on how you want to make money with your investment property. 2. Get the facts first. If you don't know what you are looking at, hire an expert. 3. Roadmap the unit's utilities to understand how services are provided.